People often ask me what separates the rulers from the ruled. And I think the answer is far more simple than most people want to believe. It comes down to pure attention. And what do I mean by that? Those who are in control are able to direct their own attention onto what they will. In addition, they are able to inhibit this function in everybody else. It is as simple as that. Attention is the currency. Now, if they can dangle things in front of you and get you looking at them, wasting your energy on the wrong things, then their motives, their agenda just sails along smoothly without hindrance. And everyone else is just stuck in the mud. One must understand the trichotomy of control. One must develop the ability to direct their attention to what they can control, what they can't control, and what they can influence. Only by understanding those categories in relation to yourself can you gain control of your attention. It is only by understanding this that you can begin to do the inner work, the necessary work, the work which is why we are here. The elite understand this, and they have misused this knowledge. They have hidden it. This is where we get the term occult. The biggest and most obvious example of this was, of course, the PSYOP of 2020. It was during this particular PSYOP where the elites pushed, perhaps too aggressively, in what they were dangling in front of people, trapping their attention, trapping their energy, harvesting it, all the while doing their own little thing, making moves, accruing power. I mean, in that example, in that literal example, people, a whole generation developed what we now understand as TikTok brain. And you know, this is still a learning process for me. I'm by no means in full control of my attention. And I certainly have not even begun to tap into the shady area of affecting the attention of other people. Only in making these sorts of videos do I do that. You must be aware of why you are watching this. What reason? To be present is the ultimate superpower. And there is one simple trick which I was taught, which really has been very valuable to me. And not a lot of people seem to be able to do it, which is odd, because it's ridiculously simple. But it's It's simple in a way. If you can't do it, you cannot begin to think about how it's done. You cannot imagine a colour that you've never seen, a colour which doesn't exist. You cannot create in your mind an animal which does not exist. You can create some kind of mismatch of things, a rabbit's face with horns, with a crocodile's body, and you get it. So it can be quite difficult for somebody who has no concept of directing attention to get this simple thing. Which is why when people first teach meditation, they tell people to focus on the breathing, because the breathing is something that happens anyway. It's a passive thing. It's necessary. Imagine if you had to direct your attention to breathe. How terrible that would be. No, we're actually quite fortunate in some ways that our attention gets appropriately hijacked. Now, the simple trick is this. You sit down with a good posture. Place your hands on your thighs, facing away from you, facing down. Your feet are touching the ground. You're merely sensing your feet. That's it. If you can sense your feet, you can be present. You can direct your attention.